You're watching college softball on the SEC Network. A freezing night here in Tuscaloosa as the sun sets in the distance, and Alabama and Mississippi Valley State will do battle here at Rhodes. Alabama trying to remain undefeated, and Mississippi Valley State trying to pull off the upset here in Tuscaloosa. And we welcome you into the booth. I am Gray Robertson, alongside former Alabama softball player Rachel Bobo. Tough start to the year for the Delta Devilettes, but they're going to try and pull off the upset. However, with some of the youth on this team, it's really all about trying to get the confidence up in games like this.
Yes, they have 11 freshmen, which is, I would say, a majority of their lineup. And so this year they're kind of looking to be more of a growing year and mature their lineup.
And Alabama 21-0, a win would tie the 2013 team, the best start since that year. And they have looked really good this year on the way to that 21-0 record.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Montana Fouts has just been stellar. Her ERA is .53, just really doing great, and just have a lot of versatility in their pitching lineups, 5 different pitchers in total, and just really have been great this year.
6 games away from reaching that 2001 mark, and one of those pitchers that you just talked about getting the start in the circle tonight, Rachel, and that's Krystal Goodman.
Yes, Krystal Goodman is one of those pitchers that has a nasty changeup, as Murph referred to it, and throws a screw, a drop curve, rise, and has a really hard drop ball. So a lot of different zones to work with here, and is going to really make these Mississippi Valley hitters work to get on base.
A transfer from Chipola College and from Long Beach, Mississippi, and here's the lineup that she will face for the Delta Devilettes. A couple players here and there who are getting some action, and then also some of the veteran players that they rely on, but not many of those veteran players on the lineup. As you said, 11 freshmen on this team. We're about ready to get things started. It is cold here, but some brave fans have made it in, and the first pitch fouled into the Alabama dugout. It's Kaylin Dunn leading off, the sophomore from Granger, Indiana. Oh, 1 misses high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the 1-1. That went off speed, and nice glove by Skylar Wallace to get out number 1. What a nice play by the freshman moving over from second.
Right, Skylar Wallace, really good range, and again, just really works here to get that out.
And you see her in the infield right there at second, Jenkins at short, Morgan over at third, Caroline Hardy getting the start at first, and Bailey Hemphill behind the plate. And in the outfield, a big changeup. Chloe Anderson getting her first career start for Alabama. Mara Schroeder out in second, and Kaylee Tao, the sophomore, out in right. First pitch to Jalen Davis, misses for ball 1.
There is really no other feeling besides getting your first career start at Rhodes Stadium under the lights. Now, granted, it is a little cold here tonight, so I wouldn't think she would have picked this weather necessarily, but you got a beautiful sunset under the lights. It doesn't get much better than that.
And after that 1-0 pitch misses, Bailey Hemphill will go chat with Krystal Goodman. So there is Chloe Anderson out there in left. The freshman from Candler, North Carolina, has appeared in 12 games, but mostly as a pinch runner, getting her first start out in left field.
Yeah, I mean, she has such great potential and is just getting started here at Alabama. I'm very excited to see what she'll do in her next 4 years. She is primarily a slapper, so she is one of those people that has speed and has the green light, so we'll see if she can steal a couple bases.
After that meeting in the circle, that one fouled off, 2-1. Now the lineup for Alabama is very different from what we've normally seen, which is something Patrick Murphy alluded to this week, saying he wanted to give some people some chances to start in other positions. It's a 2-1. Misses, 3 balls and 1 strike. And there is Patrick Murphy over there in the Alabama dugout. 21st season as the Alabama head coach. National championship in 2012. Many Women's College World Series appearances. That one over to Morgan. Double clutch and throw to first in time for out number 2.
I would say that double clutch was her fingers unfrosting from standing out on the field. It is a very cold one tonight.
Yeah, as we walked by the Alabama dugout earlier, as you see the play again, as we walked by the dugout earlier, we saw a heater in there. I think Mississippi Valley State had it as well, so I think that's going to be the main gathering point in between innings.
Yes, and especially for the pitchers because, I mean, you sit for 3 outs, and depending on how long these innings last for each side, it could cause you to, I mean, get, I guess, unwarm, and, I mean, there's potential for maybe a missed pitch or something like that.
And the temperature says 45. I will say it feels a lot colder than that. You can see by the folks bundled up here at Rhodes.
My toes would definitely disagree with that as well.
That 1-0 pitch misses low to DeShante Smith. Smith, the sophomore out of Vista, California. One of the players who has started pretty regularly this year. So that one finds the strike zone, 2-1. The 2-1. Off speed, beautiful. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Wow.
And over in the third base coaching box, you see Lee Smith in his 18th season with Mississippi Valley State. Saw some pretty good years in the late 2000s, trying to get back to that spot in the SWAC. As a 2-2 misses inside. Projected 4th of 5 in the Eastern Division, and very rare, Rachel, to see conferences in softball still playing with divisions.
Right, I mean, it's normally you just almost bunch them all together and let them play together, but I guess in this SWAC they're not there yet.
Changing things up as that changeup is fouled off again, full count.
Like I said, Krystal Goodman has just one of the nastiest changeups to go from throwing 67, 68 to lower 50s, maybe even into the 40s. I mean, she throws a flip change, so it is one that is really just going to hum in there.
Payoff pitch. This is going to be a tough play. Goodman scampers and threw it into Hardy's leg, and aboard is Smith. We'll see what they call that, but 1 on with 2 outs.
That's a tough play for any pitcher to make, to come over there, especially with the spin on the ball. It makes it, 1, hard to pick up, and 2, gives, I mean, she had to run almost to first base to field this ball, and it was a shorter play for Skylar Wallace to make, but kind of a low, hard toss from Krystal Goodman to Caroline Hardy.
So close together. It is called an error on Krystal Goodman. First pitch, Jenkins to first, and the long throw is in time, and the side is retired. So 1 gets aboard, but still no score. Alabama and Mississippi Valley State. Beautiful sunset in the background as we welcome you back here to Tuscaloosa. No score between Alabama and Mississippi Valley State. Tide coming to bat for the first time, and they will face, Rachel, Alyssa Montez, a sophomore from San Antonio, Texas.
She is going to be one of those pitchers that generally stays down in the zone, trying to get people to roll over, ground out to whichever side is their pull side for a right-handed or left-handed hitter, and is really going to make these hitters really go down and get the ball, or make her bring it up, one of the two. So a good range for Alabama to work with there.
And the Alabama offense, very much different from what has been the case this year. Kaylee Tao back in the leadoff spot after a couple games off. And the pitch. Misses for ball one. Here you see the Alabama lineup. Mara Schroeder moving up to the 2-hole. I don't know if she's ever hit that high in the lineup, but
maybe previously, maybe once or twice. Not this year, though.
You see Skylar Wallace in the 5-hole as well. 1-0. Pretty off speed, but misses. 2 balls and no strikes. And there is Kaylee Tao, the sophomore from Madisonville, Kentucky. 7th in the SEC in runs scored, 3rd in doubles, 2nd in walks. 5 for 12 in the last 5 games, and 373 this year. Here's the 2-0. It's the corner, 2 balls and 1 strike.
That's a pitch as a hitter that you have to be ready to hit. I don't know if she maybe was given the take by her coach, by Patrick Murphy, or if she was maybe looking inside. I don't know. But as a hitter on a 2-0 count, you're probably going to get the best pitch you've seen all night.
2-1. Misses. 3-1 now. And you got to think maybe on this pitch as well. 3-1, you know a strike is going to come, so Kaylee Tao should be swinging. The 3-1. Off speed, misses low, and Kaylee Tao, we said she was 2nd in the SEC in walk. She gets a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 1st.
Yes, that's a great take by Kaylee Tao, too, to make sure that, one, as a leadoff hitter, part of what you're supposed to do is to kind of figure out where the strike zone is with the umpire, and she did a great job of that. Montez did a great job of framing and kind of hitting the corners, but still not close enough to keep Kaylee Tao off the base.
Now there's Mara Schroeder, the senior from Houston, Texas, in the 2-hole. That one misses for a ball. Mara Schroeder, the senior, as we said, usually in left field, playing center field tonight. 232 this year. 1-0 swing and miss.
There's that down pitch. That's a great spot. Again, it drops right off the table. Is a bit of a speed change there than what Alabama's necessarily used to seeing. Great pitch.
The 1-1. Off speed again. 2 balls and 1 strike. Boy, that changeup, Rachel, that is as slow as it comes.
It definitely floats in there.
That one hits the corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Alyssa Montez kind of getting in her groove here, finding the strike zone. That'll be very useful to her as the game comes to, so she can know in a crunch where she needs to put it.
And I assume it's also all about getting comfortable here against Alabama, an undefeated team on the road. 2-2 swung on and missed. And Montez has a strikeout.
Now batting for the Crimson Tide, number 16, Bailey Hemphill.
So with Schroeder down, here comes Bailey Hemphill, the junior from Lafayette, Louisiana. All over the SEC power ranks. And the first pitch in the dirt. 339, but the 8 home runs, that's 5th in the conference, and the 28 runs batted in, that is 4th, Rachel. And that's not really a surprise coming from this sophomore, excuse me, this junior.
Bailey Hemphill is one of those hitters that...
As that one is ripped right there. Another powerful shot out to the left. And 2 on for Alabama with 1 out. So
Again,
there it is, Rachel.
Yep, Bailey is one of those key hitters that you need in your lineup to get the RBIs, to get the batters around, and in this case, give Reagan Dites the opportunity to knock in Kaylee Tao at second base and score the first run of the game.
Here is the Mississippi Valley State defense. There's Lester out in left, Davis in center, and Dunn over in right. And then the infield for the Delta Devilettes. Arroyo at third, Gage at short, Peterson at second, Smith at first, and Wilburn behind the plate. With Alyssa Montez in the circle against Reagan Dykes, a senior. First pitch misses for ball 1. Reagan Dykes from Collins, Mississippi. 308 this year, had a 3-for-3 night yesterday against South Alabama. And against the Delta Devilettes last year was 1-for-1 with a home run. Here's the 1-0. Misses 2-0.
This is that same count that Kaylee Tao had earlier, and she got one that was right there, you know, so maybe Reagan will get that same pitch or take it like Kaylee Tao did.
Tough pitch misses. 3 balls and no strikes.
Here's that changeup again.
It really takes a second to get there.
Right, you got to count to really work on holding your weight back, staying right behind the ball, and making sure you see it.
3-0. Swung on and missed as Dykes attacked that pitch. And that one misses as well. And the toss back to the pitcher is out in play for a moment, but the bases are loaded for Alabama with 1 out. And Montez, after getting the strikeout to Schroeder, has surrendered 2 straight base runners.
Now batting number 2, Skylar Wallace.
And that leaves the stage to Skylar Wallace, the freshman from Woodstock, Georgia, with the bases loaded.
This is a good situation for really any freshman to be in, and for Patrick Murphy to be able to see if they can handle this sort of situation. Bases loaded, granted, it's the first inning, so not a whole lot of pressure here, but being able to kind of evaluate his hitters.
First pitch misses. Skylar Wallace has been on fire lately. She has really skyrocketed up the team average rankings. Top average on the team, 5 for 11 in the last 5 games. A couple doubles and a home run. That one misses. And that's good to see, Rachel, if you're Patrick Murphy, because you want a freshman like Skylar Wallace hitting well with conference play on the horizon.
Right, and it shows that she's not afraid to take the swings when she needs to as well. And that's something that you don't see as a freshman. A lot of the time they're kind of scared to go in and play fearlessly because of maybe getting pulled from the lineup or letting the team down or whatever their fear may be. But Skylar Wallace really showing that she is almost fearless. And again, that's not something you typically see in a freshman.
Some conversations as the Delta Devilettes have a conference in the circle. And Patrick Murphy uses that time to talk to Skylar Wallace.
Looks like Mississippi Valley's trying to make a game plan to maybe hopefully turn a double play here. Get out of the inning.
You play at every base, obviously, and you're seeing the infield react as such. But the outfield giving a lot of respect to Skylar Wallace.
Maybe looking to keep. She did hit an inside the park home run for her first home run, and there's that changeup again. Man, that just floats in there. I mean, that's, you either got to be sitting on it to hit it or just take it like she did, unless you have 2 strikes, of course.
So how do you recognize that out of the pitcher's hand? Or do you?
It's one, you have to watch a lot of film. Allison Habits, the assistant coach, is one who...
As that one hit over to first, the throw home is in time. As Wilburn, I thought her foot might have dragged, but 2 down on the fielder's choice.
But as I was saying, with watching film and really maturing, or not maturing, but getting to know the pitcher that you're about to face, knowing what pitches she throws, where she typically sticks to, what side of the plate, depending on what side of the batter's box you're on, just learning what she pitches, and then maybe even trying to pick the changeup. And that can be something, if you're a role player for Alabama, that you try to do, is figure out the tendencies of the pitcher.
First pitch to one of the more devout film watchers for Patrick Murphy. Caroline Hardy, the senior from Vestavia Hills, Alabama. 231 on the season. Just 6 hits this year, but 3 of them have been over the fence. The 1-0. Misses. 2 balls and no strikes. So if you're Alyssa Montez, this is a pretty big at-bat, because if you can get out of this inning, momentum is on the Delta Devilettes side. You have to think.
I mean, that is definitely a huge, especially when you started off the inning with a leadoff walk and then had a base hit, which was a shot, and then had another walk to follow it up. I mean, she has really come back this inning and, again, has given her a chance.
That one gets the inside corner.
Yeah, she's just given the team a chance to get out of the inning. And here's the same sort of thing. Just working the count, going at the batter, and doing exactly what a pitcher's supposed to do.
Still a hitter's count here, but that was a nice pitch on the 3-0 count. Here's the 3-1. Off speed, misses, and that's another walk. Her 3rd of the inning, and that walks in Alabama's first run of the night.
Now batting for the Crimson Tide, 0-0, Maddie Morgan.
And that sets up Maddie Morgan with the bases loaded. A sophomore from Linwood, Washington. And the pitch. Finds the strike zone.
That was a good adjustment on Alyssa Montez's part as well, is noticing that none of the Alabama hitters really took a swing on the first pitch, so being able to get that first pitch strike will probably help her in this at-bat.
That one low. And also Alabama really not biting for the changeup either. I don't think we've seen a swing on that pitch yet.
Maris may have had one earlier, but other than that, you're right. I mean, it's even from watching it in the booth, you can kind of see her hand a little more on the pitch, and kind of like a horseshoe changeup, I think is what she throws. But it's something you can recognize in a hitter, that there is something that's different. You don't necessarily know what it is, but I think that's how a lot of these Alabama hitters are able to recognize it.
Let's see if she goes with it here on the 2-1. This one is hit high. Gage moves back and makes the catch for out number 3, but Alabama walks in a run. 1-0 Crimson Tide through 1. One 0 Alabama over Mississippi Valley State as we head to the second. Big weekend in the SEC as conference play gets underway. And Rachel, the marquee matchup, number 7 Tennessee at number 4 Florida.
That is one of the toughest places to play, I think, is at the University of Florida. And again, Kelly Barnhill having a great year, having 91 strikeouts, which leads the NCAA. I mean, that's a pretty good standout there. And same with Maddie Moss having a great year, having a 24 strikeout to base on balls ratio. And again, just two great teams here, and looking forward to seeing them play.
Should be a lot of fun. This is that Sunday game on the SEC Network. First pitch to Dejanay Gage, in for a strike. So if you had a pick, Rachel, Florida at home, but against Tennessee, who's been on fire on offense this year.
I think Florida would be the way to go with this one, with Kelly Barnhill being such a strong pitcher.
Swing and a miss there.
And really just the atmosphere at Florida. It's rivals here at Rhodes Stadium for sure, but playing there is just, it's an intense environment, and you can have some very intense fans that are not afraid to get in your ear. But overall, a great stadium, great place to play, and again, it's the fun of competition.
Yeah. And the new stadium, it looks beautiful down there in Gainesville. I think I'm going to go Tennessee in 2 out of 3.
All right.
Yeah, first in the SEC in batting average. They've got a couple good pitchers, and I'm still a little concerned about what Florida has behind Barnhill. That one misses. I know she can throw 2 of the 3, but I don't know. She's been giving up a few more big hits this year than usual.
Well, what about Maddie Moss? I mean, she's in her senior season now, and really people are. Do you think people are starting to figure her out after playing her for 4 years? Or?
Maybe so. That one misses. 2-2. I don't know. There's a lot to consider. I think it's really interesting because I think we're going to learn a lot about both of those teams after this weekend.
I mean, that again, a 1-7 lineup there. That's your big softball. That's a big weekend right there.
Yes, and great that it opens up conference play. Really, the 2-2, swing and a miss, foul tip into the glove, and 1 down.
Great pitch by Krystal Goodman here, kind of climbing the ladder, really going towards the top of the strike zone, but just putting it right out of the range of Dejanay Gage here. I mean, she was ready to hit it, but broke there right at the last second.
So with her first strikeout of the day, there's 1 down. And Shriya Cormier comes in. The senior from Hemet, California.
It's a long way from home.
Yes. Swing and a miss. I've always wondered how some of these players get from California to all the way down in Mississippi.
I mean, maybe they made them feel at home. They could see themselves in high school going to college there, and maybe they took the extra time to get the recruit in, maybe made a couple extra opportunities that maybe other recruits didn't have, or
maybe just wanted some sweet tea.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So, and that gives a great recruiting testament to Coach as well.
Cormier goes down swinging there again. 2 straight strikeouts here in the second.
Yep, great movement again by Krystal Goodman, staying in the top of the strike zone and really putting some speed behind it too. That's a hard pitch to catch up to.
So Goodman has settled in here in the second. And now she faces the catcher, Lacey Wilburn. Wilburn is not on the stat sheet, so we can tell you that this is almost definitely her first at-bat of the season. The 1-0, foul back.
Not a bad place to have your first at-bat, that's for sure.
A junior from Bourne, Texas. Off speed, misses high, 2-1. That one fired right to Clare Jenkins, who makes the catch. for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down. Alabama still leads 1-0. The SEC basketball tournament early round games are right here on the SEC network. We'll have both first round games Wednesday, the 4 second round games on Thursday, Friday the 4 quarterfinal matchups, then on Saturday the semis are on ESPN with the championship game on Sunday at noon on ESPN as well. You can watch every game on the ESPN app as well. After a fantastic taco hot sauce race here at Rhodes.
That would be arguably the cutest hot dog, taco, and hot sauce race I have ever seen. So adorable.
I looked down. I think hot sauce won, right?
I think so.
Okay. It's a good older sister.
By a landslide.
Clare Jenkins getting things started. And that one, hard foul. Jenkins, the junior from Coleman, Alabama. Has been a bit cold the last couple games. Hasn't had a hit since the first game against Minnesota 2 weekends ago, and hoping to notch a few across tonight, Rachel.
Clare Jenkins is one of those players that when she does struggle, she'll make sure that she's putting in the time and effort to figure out why she is struggling. And again, Bryn Ordell being a great coach to have because she can throw BP to these players, and I guarantee you Bryn is wearing her arm out for Clare Jenkins this week.
That one misses. And Jenkins 0 for 7 in the last 5 games with a walk, but the average at 244 after a really sterling first couple weekends for the Crimson Tide. Here's the 1-2. Just misses. Here's the 2-2. Oh, gets her on the inside corner. Beautiful pitch from Montez. Let's take another look at it.
That was a great pitch. I mean, setting her up really good, hitting that inside corner there. That's a tough pitch, 1 to take, and 2 also, I mean, great location by Alyssa Montez. Obviously caught Clare Jenkins by surprise.
Yeah, hard to argue with the call as Chloe Anderson steps in for her first career at-bat for Alabama here against the Delta Devilettes. That one floats in for a ball. You've already touched on her a bit, the freshman from Candler, North Carolina. Getting her first at-bat, has scored 5 runs in 12 appearances. That one poked up the middle. Anderson tried to beat it out. She would have beaten it out, but the throw got away from the first baseman, Smith, and Anderson is aboard Probably going to be called an error there, and it is.
That's a great job by Chloe, especially for your first career at bat at Alabama. Just getting on base, doing her job, and again, speed never slumps. That is one thing. The pitcher, Alyssa Montez, was probably thinking, oh my gosh, this girl is fast. Have to get it to first quickly, and may have caused the bit of an overthrow.
Yeah, and I'll adjust what I said. That would have gotten her had the catch been collected by Smith. But Anderson is aboard for Kayla Tao. And Chloe's going. Throw wayward from Wilburn, and Chloe Anderson has the stolen base. Now 5 for 5 this season.
Speed never slumps.
And that has been a pinpoint this year as you see it again. And even with the pitch out, Rachel.
Great slide, too, by Chloe Anderson here, getting away from the tag, kind of sliding to that back side of the bag, so it makes it a bit of a harder tag for the shortstop.
Tao walked back in the first. Nice off speed, 1-1. This Alabama team second in the SEC in stolen bases, something that Patrick Murphy has really emphasized this season.
Yes, the green light girls are something that is key to his offense, but of course first they have to get on base, so having a couple of green light girls in the lineup definitely helps with scoring runs and getting them around the bases faster.
One of those green light girls is Anderson, who's dancing around second as that one misses. No wind to speak of, really, here at Rhodes tonight. Very chilly, though, and I'm sure colder outside since the sun went down. Newton finds the strike zone.
One disadvantage of being so tall by Kayla Tao is having a bigger strike zone. Mm-hmm. So that one looked great spot by Alyssa Montez, catching the top corner of the strike zone.
Well, that's the second time, Rachel, we've seen a 2-1 count and Tao not go after a pitch. That goes full. Now, does that tell you that it's a call from Patrick Murphy?
So sometimes Patrick Murphy does get a feeling in his gut and he'll kind of signal to you, hey, take this pitch, but typically not necessarily given on a 2-1 count unless he's trying to run something else with the offense.
Yeah.
But also Kayla Tao is one of a hitter who's very selective with the pitches she swings at, which contributes to why she has so many walks as she draws another one. And that's a good and a bad thing because sometimes you can get too picky as a hitter on the pitch that you want to hit and then give potentially the best pitch away that you need to hit in that at bat. Or in her case for this, where she got to the full count and drew a walk out of it. So there's good side and a bad side to it.
Schroeder did not pick a good pitch to swing at last time up. She struck out in the first. One of 2 Ks for Montez tonight. First pitch swinging again, fouled off.
That might be one of the first times that an Alabama player has swung at the first pitch. So Maris making an adjustment from her last at bat.
Going back in the Rolodex, I think you're right. I can't think of any others. Maybe Clare. Clare's first was fouled off, and that's it. Oh, 1 misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Anderson over at second. Tao at first. Alabama 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Just 1 for 4 with runners on tonight. And the 1-1. So much movement on that one, called for a strike once again.
It's a tough pitch to hit. You really have to either get in the front of the box and wait on it or, plan to hit it when you step in the box as soon as you see it and just let the hard stuff go.
The 1-2. Misses. This one poked foul. And another strikeout from Montez gets Schroeder 2 down.
Great pitch.
Excuse me, 1 down.
Yeah.
No, 2 down, excuse me.
Great pitch by Alyssa Montez here. Again, a tough pitch as a lefty to lay off is that low and in pitch, because that's the one she could drive to the brickyard. And great location and just a great job, great execution by Alyssa Montez.
You said it was going to be a lot of drop tonight. Montez has that pitch working. Now she'll go against the one batter with a hit for Alabama. That's Bailey Hemphill. And this one is hit hard out towards center, all the way back and over the fence. It's a 3-run shot for Bailey Hemphill, and give her 9 home runs this year. And Alabama expands their lead to 4-0.
Again, hitting that first pitch that Alyssa Montez throws. She has been consistently putting it right there for these hitters, and Bailey Hemphill being the first one to really capitalize on it.
And first pitch swinging as well, Rachel.
Yep.
So give Bailey Hemphill 3 more runs driven in. Here's that pitch.
That's a big 3-run bomb right there. Really trying to propel this Alabama offense, and she got a pretty good jump on it, if you ask me, as 3-run bomb.
So 9 home runs this year. Coming into the game, she was 5th in the SEC and 4th in runs driven in. Now she's got 31. And Alabama with a big 2-out hit. And now bases clear for Reagan Dykes. Dykes walk back in the first. And with this outpouring, Alabama has now scored 33 times in the second inning, most of any frame this year. The 1-1 floats in.
There's that changeup again, and that's tough as a hitter too, with 2 strikes to defend, because it is such a big speed change and something that these hitters are going to have to recognize as it's coming out of her hand.
See if Montez goes back to it. The 1-2. Fouled off. It's the 14th meeting all time between Alabama and Mississippi Valley State. Crimson Tide leads the series 13-0. So that one poked out towards center, and moving over and not diving and making a play is Davis, as the ball drops right in front of the center fielder, and Reagan Dykes has a hit here in the second.
And that too was on the changeup as well, which is huge, because now it kind of limits the threat of the changeup against Reagan, and she probably will not see it as often because she was able to get a hit off of it. Great adjustment by Reagan Dykes, and great recognition too.
And so Skylar Wallace will try and keep things going with 2 outs. Freshman from Woodstock, Georgia, grounded into a fielder's choice back in the first. That one clips the outside corner. Alabama got 3 in this inning, courtesy of a Bailey Hemphill 3-run shot. As that one finds the strike zone. I don't know if I've ever seen a slower changeup, Rachel. That one just crawls in.
I can't say I have either.
But the movement makes it tough, as we've talked about. It's the 1-2. That one high over towards center. Davis makes the catch to end the threat and collect out number 3. But Bailey Hemphill gets Alabama 3 more runs here in the second. A 3-run bomb. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa. Alabama tacks on 3 in the bottom of the second, and it's 4-0 now Crimson Tide as we take a look at SEC opening weekend matchups. Kentucky at South Carolina. Abby Cheek batting .426 this year and now the all-time program leader in RBI. South Carolina beating Winthrop earlier today to extend their winning streak to 15 games. Should be a good one over in Columbia. As the first pitch over to Morgan at third. It was Peterson, and throw in time for out number 1. So that matchup, Rachel, what do you think?
I say South Carolina. I mean, they are a force to be reckoned with this year, and it is one of those things that when you're on a hot streak, you keep riding it out until it runs out, and I don't think it's going to run out this weekend.
Kennedy Lester in 9-hole, batting for the first time. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'll take South Carolina this weekend. Although I will commend Kentucky for playing the toughest non-conference schedule I've ever seen. So that one floated over to Morgan for out number 2. Pitch to Kayla Dunn. Finds the strike zone. Dunn grounded out back in the first. When I say the toughest schedule I've ever seen, talking about Kentucky, they've already played 7 top 25 teams this year, including UCLA, who's right up at the top, Washington as well, Texas, Oregon, JMU. It's quite the gauntlet.
That is a incredible schedule, which I think in the end will help them be more prepared for the SEC. I mean, that's what it's like. There's no off weekends in the SEC, and they're just preparing for the best competition.
South Carolina will host Alabama, and Kentucky will come to Tuscaloosa later on this year. Here's the 2-1. Changeup misses. Done 2018 All SWAC second team. And she lets that one come inside for ball 4. And Goodman allows her first free pass of the night.
I believe the second runner aboard.
Yes.
Tonight.
First pitch to Jalen Davis. Lays down a bunt and it hit her out of the box, and that's an out. As the ball ricocheted off the ground and hit Davis for out number 3. Coach Lee Smith for the Valley will join us after the break. 4-0 Crimson Tide. Alabama up 4-0 as the Crimson Tide comes to bat in the bottom of the third. And with us now is the Mississippi Valley State head coach, Lee Smith. Coach, so far, what have you seen from Alyssa Montez that you've liked in the circle?
She's doing well tonight. She's throwing a changeup and she's keeping them off balance. So that's her game, though.
Right, Coach. And also offensively, what are y'all going to do to adjust to Krystal Goodman's off speed and all the different pitches she throws?
Just got to keep tacking early. That's where your success at, and getting ahead in the count. When you get behind, she throws very hard.
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
Lee Smith hopping off with us, the head coach for Mississippi Valley State. And you see his hurler in the circle, Alyssa Montez.
Leading off this inning for the Crimson Tide, number 34, Caroline Hardy.
She'll go up against Caroline Hardy here in the third. Hardy walked in a run back in the first inning. And the 1-0. Off speed again.
Caroline Hardy has also been one of those players this year that has kind of come out of her shell, so to say. I mean, we talked about earlier how she had in her 6, what was it you said, the 6 at bats, or?
Yeah, 3 of her 6 hits this year have been home runs.
Right. I mean, that's something. I mean, she's out of the 6, she's literally hitting a home run every other at bat, essentially. I mean, that's a pretty good stat to have. I mean, it means you're squaring the ball up very well.
Tried to square up there, but fouled it off. One of those home runs on her senior day. It was labeled Caroline Hardy Day at Rhodes, and I'm sure that was very special for her.
Definitely.
Doing that against Louisiana Monroe.
And also a big one against Arizona, pinch hit at that.
That's an Arizona team that faces Florida State this weekend, the top-ranked Seminoles out in Tucson.
That'll be a fun series to watch, or game to watch.
That one hits the inside corner. Payoff pitch. This one is hit high and hard, way back there. Moving back as a center fielder, and she makes the catch up against the wall to rob Caroline Hardy of a home run. What a grab, Rachel.
What a play by Davis here. That's a great read, and that is a tall fence. I mean, it may look short, but that is not an easy play to make. And great, squared it up, Caroline. Hardy. And then a great play here by Davis, just reaching over the fence. I mean, that was a home run ball right there, I think. And again, Alyssa Montez thrilled that she kept the ball in the park, and Davis made a great play here.
Jalen Davis, a center fielder, with a crucial catch for out number 1. And Maddie Morgan steps up. Floats in, but can't find the strike zone. We have personally seen some great catches out in center field in the broadcast that we've done, so I guess that's the trend for this year.
Right, Alyssa Brown had a great catch a couple weekends ago, and
so that one fired over. Nice stop by Peterson, and the throw to first in time. Let's take another look at that catch out in center.
Great read here. I mean, at first she had turned the wrong way, got her hips switched up, and I don't know, that may have not been a home. It would have been close.
Hit the top of the wall.
Yes, it was close, but not close enough.
Clare Jenkins at the plate now, as that one misses. Jenkins struck out looking in the second on that inside corner. And also, Rachel, you have to credit the Delta Devilette defense. They have really backed up Montez and made the plays when need be so far.
Right, I mean, that's a huge, almost like a buzzkill, especially for Caroline Hardy's hit. That's easily a double and keeps the runner off the base and is a huge momentum shifter towards NVSU.
But instead, Delta Devilettes just out away from going 3 up, 3 down here in the third. The 2-0. Swing and a miss. Outside corner, 2-1. That one misses. 3 balls and 1 strike. Last year against Mississippi Valley State, Jenkins was 0 for 1 with 2 runs batted in, a walk and a run as well. That came out in Hattiesburg early in the year. And the 3-1 misses high for ball 4, and Clare Jenkins is aboard. Well, the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament continues tomorrow on the SEC Network with 4 second-round games, starting with 9th seed LSU taking on the 8th seed Tennessee at noon Eastern. Earlier today, you see Florida beat Ole Miss 64-57, and Alabama advanced past Vanderbilt 74-57. And as always, you can watch every game of the tournament from Greenville, South Carolina on the ESPN app. As Chloe Anderson pops this one right up the middle, and Gage comes over and makes a beautiful highlight reel catch for out number 3. So Mississippi Valley State gets out of it. Alabama still leads 4-0. Patrick Murphy coming up on the other side. Through 3 here in Tuscaloosa. Alabama leading Mississippi Valley State 4-0. And the head man for the Crimson Tide with us, Patrick Murphy. Coach, Krystal Goodman's looked pretty good in the circle. What have you liked so far?
Shoot, her changeup has been really, really nasty. She's working on her screwball, but so far she's been doing great things.
As far as Chloe Anderson, what do you have to say to her about her tonight? She's getting her first career start. I mean, that's something that is a special time in Rhodes.
I know, and I was hoping they'd give her a hit in the first one, so go kick Nathan Sheehan in the shins. And it was a little nice slap and run, but they made 3 good plays that inning, the center fielder, the second baseman, and the shortstop. So, tip your cap to them. But I also wanted to say hi to Leonard and Deanna Habits in Crowley, Louisiana, and the whole dugout's thinking about them tonight.
All right, thanks, Murph.
All right, Coach,
yeah,
thanks
a lot.
Patrick Murphy hopping off with us, and giving a shout out to the Habits family because associate head coach Allison Habits not here tonight. Stephanie Van Brakel Prothro occupying that first base coach's box. Coach Habits visiting her parents. So the first pitch comes in, and Coach Habits, one of the really energetic people that's a part of this Alabama program, and I'm sure the team wishing her well and missing her tonight.
Yeah, she is what they call an Energizer bunny. When I can remember coming to practice where it would just be one of those days where you just had too much homework, you had just everything felt like it was falling apart, and then Allie would come around and just instantly make your day better, put a smile on your face somehow. And she's just one of those types of people that you can't, there's not very many of them, and she's a special one.
And we're certainly thinking about Coach Habits tonight as she journeys back to Tuscaloosa. Deshante Smith at the plate. She reached on an error back in the first. And here's the 2-1. Off speed, beautiful right down the middle.
There's that nasty changeup Patrick Murphy was talking about.
Here it is again, yeah.
I mean,
ooh.
And that's a hard changeup to read too, because again, she's not throwing a flip. She's throwing it almost like her hand stopping at her hip, so it takes that mileage off of it.
Really getting a piece there.
Yep, that's a tough pitch to throw, and to be able to execute it consistently is an accomplishment.
And then tough to see that pitch, and then right after that, a 66-mile-per-hour one coming from Goodman.
It's an adjustment you have to be able to make as a hitter, and either you sit on the change or you wait for the fast.
See what Smith does. Sat on the change and fouled it.
And especially with 2 strikes, it's a hard thing to do with such a big speed difference between the 2 pitches.
The 2-2 swung on and missed, and Krystal Goodman with her 3rd strikeout of the night. Monday, our next SEC Inside gives you an all-access pass to Alabama and Missouri men's basketball for never-before-seen footage and sounds from the season so far. Back to the usual times, Inside the Crimson Tide at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, and then it's the Tigers right after that, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Jade Arroyo stands in and takes ball 1. Arroyo 0 for 1, the freshman from Texas City, Texas. The 2-0. Hit hard and over Maddie Morgan. As Arroyo will get aboard, thought about going to second, but the Alabama defense responds. That was a rocket to Maddie Morgan over in the hot corner, and we'll see how it's scored.
That's one shot that is, I mean, that was squared up, and thank goodness Maddie Morgan had the reflexes to at least keep it from hitting her face, but wow, that was a big shot.
You know, rightfully labeled a hit for Arroyo. There it is again. My goodness. That's almost just protect yourself with the glove right there.
I mean, that's where I'm like, okay, if I was playing on the infield, I'd be wearing a face mask and protect the moneymaker here. But that's just reaction play. You don't even have time to think about anything else.
And so Arroyo's aboard with a 1-out single. And a pinch runner coming in. It's number 33, Ayanna Taylor, a freshman from Ackerman, Mississippi. Making her 5th appearance this year. As Dejanay Gage stands in. She struck out back in the 2nd. But if you're the Delta Devilettes, you cannot waste a chance here with a runner on first.
Definitely not. Runners are far and few in between, and this would be an opportunity that they need to capitalize on.
Off speed strike.
One thing that's been key for both of the pitchers is having their off speed, their changeup, and not only having that, but being able to throw it for a strike, and then full batters as well, and get them on the strikeout pitch. So this pitch has been lethal on both sides of the plate.
Doesn't go there. It's straight heat from Krystal Goodman. That's a 20-mile-per-hour difference and a 4th strikeout for Goodman in the circle.
Here it is again. That's a great location, right up in the zone. Makes her think that it's coming about chest high, that she's going to take it out, and then puts it right where her bat isn't.
It looks like we're going to see a pinch hitter here for the Delta Devilettes. As Lee Smith chats with Matt Johnson behind the plate. And it will be Taylor Baez, a sophomore from Mesa, California.
Now batting, number 0.
And this is not a Delta Devilettes team that will steal bases. They have attempted 1 all year. They did not get it. Here's first pitch to Baez. As that one floats in. It's not the only action on the diamond here in Tuscaloosa. Is over at the Joe, South Dakota State and Alabama in extra innings tied up at 4. That a game I believe Alabama led 4-1 in the 9th. So some drama here in Tuscaloosa. The 0-2 from Goodman. Got her on the off speed, make it 5 for Krystal Goodman, and the side is retired. Alabama still with the lead, 4-0, top of the order coming up. Alabama up 4-0 here in Tuscaloosa against Mississippi Valley State, and 3 of those runs, Rachel Bobo, off this hit from Bailey Hemphill.
That's a great job by Bailey Hemphill. It was the first pitch of her that at bat, which Alyssa Montez had been throwing a lot of good pitches, and Bailey made the adjustment here and got the ball over the fence and got 3 runs across the board for Alabama.
But the Delta Devilette defense has played well behind Montez so far.
Yes, great plays here, saving a maybe home run from Caroline Hardy, and Alyssa Montez clearly showing how excited she was when she did make the catch. So great job on their part, and really just putting something together and staying in this ball game.
Alabama will try and put things together here in the bottom of the 4th, leading 4-0 back in the booth with you, Gray Robertson and Rachel Bobo. The Alabama offense has had some chances tonight, but it's taken a minute for them to really get warm on this chilly evening.
Right, and there's been a couple of changes in the lineup with new people moving to positions and readjusting the lineup for just seeing, I guess, what tools Patrick Murphy can use for this Alabama offense and defense. But again, little stalls here and there, but maybe this next couple of innings they'll pick it up here, start recognizing the off speed, and that's one thing that Alyssa Montez has done very well, is mixing the off speed, keeping Alabama on its toes, and waiting for them to make an adjustment.
And despite a few free passes, she has pitched very well this evening. You really take away Bailey Hempill, and Alabama's just got one hit as Kaylee Tao stands in. Tao has no hits and no official at-bat today, has walked twice. There it is again, that off speed for strike. The 2-1 misses, 3 balls and 1 strike. Tao was SEC Player of the Week in Week 1. Sophomore in Madisonville, Kentucky. And she has walked for a 3rd time. And those SEC stats update, one can assume she's certainly kept her 2nd in the conference walk number, if not overtaken the leader. And she's on board with nobody out.
Again, great pitch selection here. Staying in her zone, knowing what the umpire is calling, what he's not calling, and really what Alyssa Montez is hitting and not hitting.
And we'll see KB Sides at the plate for the first time today. Sides pinch hitting for Mara Schroeder. A sophomore from Dora, Alabama. Comes in for a strike. KB Sides has led off the last couple games for the Crimson Tide, something that Patrick Murphy has really played around with this year. We've seen Kaylee Tao lead off, Alyssa Brown lead off, and more recently Sides.
Yes, and Sides, a sophomore, really just trying to find her groove in this lineup. And for her, it may be hitting the leadoff spot, it may be hitting in the 2-hole, or it may be the 9-hole. And every year, each player fills out a form where they tell where they like to bat in the lineup and where they don't like. And I guarantee you KB has put that she liked hitting in the 1 and 2 hole and probably the 9 hole as well. And I think Patrick Murphy's just trying to get his feel. And
so what's the difference from leading off or batting second? I mean, is it a comfort thing, a mental thing? What is that?
Well, as a leadoff, you're thinking more, okay, I need to see as many pitches as I can so I can, whether I get on base or not, come back to the dugout and have some sort of feed, which obviously the players watch film beforehand, but it's a lot different than seeing it live. And so that's one thing that's the biggest difference versus the 9-hole who has all 8 batters before them who has faced potentially this same pitcher and is able to feed off of their information versus just going in blind.
And KB Sides is an interesting choice when she leads off because she can hit for power or slap. And swung for power, but missed on that one. Nice pitch on the inside for a strikeout.
And she actually got Mara Schroeder with that same pitch earlier, locating on a low and in pitch. That's a tough pitch, again, for especially a power hitter lefty to lay off of, and really a power hitter, a right-handed power hitter as well. Just being able to see that ball up and, I guess, make contact with it.
Well, speaking of power, how about Bailey Hempill at the plate? 2 for 2 tonight. And first pitch nowhere close to the zone. Single in the first, 3-run homer in the second. So if you're Alyssa Montez and this Mississippi Valley State team, how do you pitch to Bailey Hempill when she has been on fire tonight so far?
I would not intentionally walk her, but I would not give her anything that she could hit either. I'd make her swing at something that is a close strike, but not actually a strike. Maybe give her something to nibble on a little bit. Foul ball wouldn't hurt.
Just try and get a swing that doesn't connect if you're Montez. That is the pitch that's been called a strike all night on the inside corner, 2-1.
If you ask me, that's a bit of a risky pitch to throw Bailey Hemphill here. Especially on a 2-0 count.
Yeah. The 2-1. Ooh, off speed, comes in. Here's what she did earlier in that second inning, Rachel.
I mean, great job staying right on this ball. That's a low and outside pitch, a very hard pitch to drive for a right-handed hitter. And again, just pushes Alabama way ahead in the second inning and gets them a big jump to this ball game.
2-2. This one hit hard out to left. Rounding second is Tao, and Patrick Murphy will send her home. The throw in will not be in time as Tao steps on the plate, and Bailey Hemphill's got a double, and Alabama's lead is up to 5.
That's a great job right here by Kayla Tao as well, being able to see that the left fielder did actually bobble it a little bit, which gave her that split second to beat the throw out to home.
And I'll correct myself. I think that's going to be called a single and then advancing to second on the error. And Alabama getting another run.
Yep, a little bit of a bobble here. And if you look to see, if you can see Patrick Murphy, he was waving her all the way home, was with no hesitation. Once he saw that one that Kayla Tao got a really good jump, and two that the left fielder had bobbled it a little bit, it gave her that, like I said, a little extra time to be safe at home.
So the first pitch to Reagan Dykes fouled off. So just some housekeeping. It is a single to left, advancing to second, and Tao scoring on the fielding error by Lester out and left. So an unearned run. As Reagan Dykes stands in, she's 1 for 1, walking a single. That single coming back in the second inning.
Reagan Dykes has really turned around her hitting these last couple of games, going 3 for 3, and then now on base for 2 out of 2 times. This game, that's a...
And that one right to the shortstop. Pretty hard hit ball over to Gage. She makes the catch. And 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th.
Now batting number 2.
But still, if you're Patrick Murphy, you have to be pretty encouraged by what Reagan Dykes has done at the plate over, as you said, the last 2 days now, 4 for 5.
Right. Yeah, she, I mean, kind of struggled at the first couple of tournaments, and now in the last 2 games has really picked it up. She must be seeing the ball really well. And
there's a bunt that goes foul for Skylar Wallace.
And especially for a senior, you're coming to realize that you're approaching your last couple of games. You've had your first game ever. You kind of start to realize your sense of urgency, and I don't know, maybe that's driving her to stay after practice a little more. Maybe it's, giving her the motivation to be like, okay, this is my last go-around. I need to do it big here.
Is that something that these seniors are thinking about, all the lasts that they're going to experience this year for the Crimson Tide?
I think in the back of their minds, I know when I was a senior, it was something that I thought about a lot, but also at the same time, I think the biggest last that's going to be hard is the one playing here at Rhodes Stadium.
Here's the 1-1. Misses. Yeah, that last home series will be against Kentucky in late April. As you see Skylar Wallace's evening, 0 for 2, fielder's choice, and flew out in the second. The 2-1. Foul. And the 2-2. This one is hit hard, but drifting foul again. Bailey Hemphill just trying to keep the hands warm there.
At least she's moving and not staying still.
I'm sure she's thankful for every foul ball.
And those long sleeves.
Yes. It's 45 when we started. The sun has gone down. I'm sure it is south of 40 now here in Tuscaloosa. It's a 2-2. Fouled off again. And Hemphill, just to get the blood pumping, a couple more steps.
Getting her cardio in for the day. Sure, Michelle Diltz, their strength and conditioning coach, can't complain about that.
No. The 2-2. Chest foul.
That's a good spot for Alyssa Montez to put this pitch. She's been throwing Skylar Wallace all out, really making her fish for that outside pitch and then trying to bust her in. That's a good spot for her. Most batters probably would have taken that. It would have been a strike 3 call, but Alyssa Montez doing a great job here to keep it alive and stay ahead in this count.
An update from the Joe. They've ended it in 14. Alabama walks off South Dakota State 5-4. As Skylar Wallace continues to fight. And the dugout giving her some encouragement. Another 2-2 pitch to Wallace. Hit high. Montez has the play, and she makes the catch over her head and secures out number 3. But Kaylee Tao comes across as Bailey Hemphill drives in a run. 5-0 Crimson Tide. The SEC men's basketball tournament early round games are right here on the SEC network. We'll have both first round games Wednesday, the 4 second round games on Thursday, Friday, the 4 quarterfinal matchups, and then on Saturday, the semifinals are on ESPN, and the championship games Sunday at noon on ESPN as well. You can also watch every game on the ESPN app. Should be a fascinating tournament in Nashville and a fascinating game here in Tuscaloosa as Patrick Murphy has made a change in the circle. It is a sophomore from Centralia, Missouri, Madison Preston.
Madison Preston is another one of those pitchers that thankfully Murph is in his arsenal and can use at his earliest convenience, I guess. And she mainly throws a drop, curve, and a change, and really is more of a ground ball inducing pitcher. And so I guess the defense better be ready to go.
And maybe most importantly, a lefty, which is just a completely different look from Krystal Goodman.
Right. And this, with a predominantly right-handed, or maybe it's predominantly, I'm not for sure, but especially with the right-handed hitter, a majority of the time you're seeing it from the right side, and this, again, gives it a completely different look coming from the pitcher.
And there is Krystal Goodman. pretty great start for her. She gives way to Preston, who has thrown 2 straight strikes to Lacey Wilburn, who is 0 for 1 today.
We also see another change. Taylor Clark has also come in for Maddie Morgan at third base.
And KB Sides out in center as well. Something that Patrick Murphy said would happen, that you would see some folks in the game, some lineup changes in game as well. First time we've seen KB Sides out in center this year, although Taylor Clark has come in a few times at third.
See, Taylor Clark is in, has already rolled up her sleeves, is ready to go, showing her Virginia Tech colors, and how I guess she is used to this colder weather.
There's Krystal Goodman's night so far, or rather, as she leaves. 1 hit, 1 walk, but 5 strikeouts, and the changeup was just spectacular, Rachel.
As referred to by Patrick Murphy, it was actually nasty. Got her a lot of strikeouts, got her a lot of just a couple pitches ahead in the count, just a good go-to pitch for her.
One of the 5 pitchers for this Alabama team. Now an ERA dipping below 2. Preston against Wilburn, the 1-2 in the dirt. And Madison Preston is a player for Alabama who has not seen as much action as the other pitchers on staff, but she has seen some big moments, especially last year in her freshman campaign.
Right, she had a great game against Georgia and came in and shut them down with bases loaded and just did a really great job. And
that went over to Taylor Clark, and the throw to first in time for out number 1.
One thing that's going to be key for her as well is to be able to come in, and one thing that Patrick Murphy talks about is when you come in, you leave the score the same, whether it's 4-0 or 0-0 ball game. You don't change the score, and I think that's going to be key here for Madison Preston, and to be able to prove that she can handle a situation and control the pitches that she's throwing and do what she's supposed to do in the circle.
Kaylin Peterson steps in now, and the first pitch for her goes in for a strike. Peterson 0 for 1 on the day. And Preston last year got the start against Mississippi Valley State. That 11-1 victory in Hattiesburg on February 17th of last year. Went 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. And a swing and a miss there by Peterson. The 0-2. Did she go around? Yes, she did, and that's a strikeout for Madison Preston. Her 6th this season and 1st tonight. Let's take another look at it.
Great job making her fish at the low pitch. I mean, great pitch by, not really a location pitch by Madison Preston, but enough to get Kaylin Peterson here, and just a great job by Madison Preston, making her, I guess, whatever the opposite of climb the ladder is.
I guess go into the cellar?
Yeah, going into the cellar.
Head to the basement as a pinch hitter steps out for the Delta Devilettes. It's number 26, Brianna Alston, the freshman from Rockland, California. Batting 154 this year, making her 11th appearance and 14th appearance at the plate. 2 for 13 this year. That one finds a strike zone. Madison Preston really hammering the strike zone right here, Rachel.
This too showing that she can do it. She is a great pitcher, and again, we had mentioned, you know, she hasn't really seen as much time as the other pitchers have, but she'll be able to pull from this and know that she can throw strikes, she can hit her spots, and she can get good hitters out.
Did she go? Yes, she did. A 2nd strikeout of the inning for Madison Preston. 11 of 13 of her pitches were strikes, and Alabama takes a 5-0 lead into the bottom of the 5th. Alabama up 5-0 here at Rhodes Stadium as the Crimson Tide comes to the plate. And another marquee SEC opening weekend matchup, LSU, whose offense might be the biggest surprise in the conference in the early part of the year. Shelby Sinceri with 11 home runs at Texas A&M and Davis Diamond, the palatial new stadium out there that opened up last year. And Texas A&M has seen kind of an odd season, just 0-2 against ranked teams, but trying to replace a lot of players that graduated and transfer, including legend Tori Vidalis and a lot of talent in the circle as well.
Right, and losing Sam Chow probably didn't help them either to Oklahoma State. But also, I mean, LSU's having a great year, playing really well. Shelby Sinceri, like you said, is having a great year, 11 home runs. But I don't know, playing in College Station is it's really one of those really good environments to play in that really tests how well if you can handle not playing at home against a good team. And I think it'll be a great series. I think LSU will come up with the win, but I don't know. A&M's one of those teams, you never know what they're going to do.
I'll agree with you and add that LSU's offense exploding like it has, a surprise to me. Last year they really struggled at the plate, and they were replacing two All-Americans in the circle, Allie Walljasper and Carly Hoover, as the 2-0 is hit way back there and over the wall. Caroline Hardy with her 7th hit of the year and her 4th home run, 6-0 Alabama.
Hey, what a stat line to have. Literally every other at bat you're hitting a home run or getting it. I mean, that's such a cool thing to be able to say, if you ask me. But such a great time for Caroline Hardy again in her senior season, really taking advantage of everything that she's been able to accomplish and given the opportunity to do. And in this case, again, hitting a home run and getting another ball or run across the board. And again, not really a great pitch by Alyssa Montez, but a great job by Caroline Hardy, getting the ball over the fence and getting another run.
You could tell Montez was going for that upper inside corner that she's had called for a strike a few times. I think just missed it right down the middle for Hardy, who feasted on it with a solo shot. And now Taylor Clark will step in. The junior, transfer from Virginia Tech out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. So you're right, this cold is probably nothing for her.
Her sleeves are at her elbows, and you see Bailey Hemphill running around with her hands in her sleeves. The Lafayette, Louisiana native, not really used to this cold weather either.
Neither are we. That's why we have jackets on here inside the booth.
Yes, and she's from Pennsylvania. I mean, that's definitely not a warm city.
No.
Or state, excuse me.
Mechanicsburg, yeah.
Yes.
Can't imagine it's very warm up there. She's also trying to get her first career hit for the Crimson Tide. 0 for 12. Those 3 walks, though, and a run scored. The 2-1. Off speed floats in. The 2-2 misses, and the count goes full. And 2 seconds. Break as time is called, and Taylor Clark steps back in for the payoff pitch. Roped foul. Look out. Be sure to go to SECnetwork.com for more coverage of the SEC, including coverage of the women's basketball tournament out in Greenville, South Carolina. Arkansas softball exceeding expectations, a great feature on the Razorbacks. And then softball and baseball central. Alabama baseball with 11 ranked teams in the top 25 in the latest polls. And softball with a good number in the top 10 as well, as Clark swings and misses for strike 3. Let's take a look at the women's basketball tournament bracket. And that women's basketball tournament continues tomorrow on the SEC Network with 4 second-round games, starting with 9-seed LSU taking on 8-seed Tennessee at noon Eastern. Earlier today, Florida beat Ole Miss 64-57, and Alabama advanced past Vanderbilt 74-57, excuse me. And now the Crimson Tide plays Auburn, and that'll be tomorrow, one of the 4 games that you can watch from Greenville on the ESPN app, as Clare Jenkins gets a hit out to left, and she is aboard with 1 out.
That's one way to get on base. I mean, just get it right out of the infield. I mean, did that even hit the grass? I mean, it would have been.
I think it hit the edge of the dirt.
But hey, that's one way to get out of a little slump here. Just doing whatever it takes to get on base. Just missed it.
Yep.
Just missed the grass. But great, I guess, placement by Clare Jenkins, and just getting on base. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Reagan Dykes was 3 for 3 yesterday against South Alabama. That first hit was a sky-high ball into shallow center that was dropped by the South Alabama defense, or rather they didn't even touch it. And that kind of got her day going. She doubled the next at-bat, so you never really know what hit is going to get you going and really make you comfortable again at the plate.
Doesn't matter how pretty it looks, doesn't matter how pretty it sounds. Nobody's going to say, oh, I remember your hit on March 6th at 7:35 p.m. was just a little dinker over the third baseman. It goes down in the book as a hit. It could be a line drive to the gap. It could be anything. Nobody's going to sit here and, I mean, Patrick Murphy may remember the time, day, and that sort of thing, but just, again, nobody remembers that. Just gets the ball rolling.
Chloe Anderson will step back in. She is 0 for 2, but has reached base and scored, reaching on an error back in the second, and then a great catch in the third. Now the shortstop, Gage. And going with the pitch is Clare Jenkins, and she doesn't even have to slide.
Risky play, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it was really that close, but still, I mean,
that's got to be a read, right? You see the defensive alignment and say, okay, we're going with that pitch.
I'm going to be honest, I can't say that I've never not slid into second base when I stole a base. So that's something I guess you got to risk it for the biscuit for.
Now 2 for 3 stealing bases is Clare Jenkins as foul back, 1 ball, 1 strike. Chloe Anderson still looking for her first hit as a member of the Crimson Tide, but did score, and she reached on an error back in the second. And again, a great catch in the third inning by the shortstop, Gage. Prevented a single, as that one over to third, and the throw from Arroyo is in time to get Anderson at first. Well, these midweek games setting up the Crimson Tide to face Missouri here in Rhodes as they open up conference play. Colby Romaine and the Tigers stepping in to face the Crimson Tide. Montana Fouts. We think Patrick Murphy will throw her Friday, Sunday. She has been impressive, top ERA in the conference and 5th in the nation.
That, I mean, and she's just a freshman. Imagine how good she's going to be next year, junior, and even senior year. She's a force to be reckoned with, and between her, I mean, topping out at 73 miles an hour to working on an off speed, that's going to be a lethal combination whenever she can get both of them to work at the same time. So just can't wait to see how she performs in these next 4 years, but also just getting into opening SEC weekend.
And we'll have those Friday, Saturday games, Rachel, and then the Sunday game on the SEC Network as Kaylee Tao comes back in. And still no at-bat for Kaylee Tao. 3 walks and scored a run. I think it's been almost the same thing every time.
I think so too.
2-0 and then a strike for 2-1. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
honestly, I think I think she's looking in. I really do, because she's gotten that same pitch in the outside corner, like you said, almost every time.
That might be the first 2-2 count Kaylee Tao has seen.
Yeah, because she usually gets up 3-1 and then loads it full and then gets the walk. So, yeah, you may be right.
Here's the 2-2. Misses, and the count goes full.
Shocker.
Wish that was a stat I could find. Most full counts this year. Payoff pitch to Kaylee Tao. Gets her on the inside corner. Beautiful pitch from Montez, and the side is retired. But Caroline Hardy with a home run, and then Montez responding with a strikeout. 6-0 Alabama. Thousands of live events, exclusive original programming, no long-term contract, $4.99 a month. For more information, visit espnplus.com. And Alyssa Brown in the game for the first time over at her center field position where she usually patrols. And with that, KB Sides moves to right.
Not only does she patrol, but she makes outstanding catches out there as well. Top 10 catches.
Yes, I think it reached number 3 on SportsCenter.
Yep, number 3. It's a great catch.
Junior from Eclectic, Alabama. Out in the center as Madison Preston goes back to work against Kaylin Dunn. Preston so far has thrown 15 pitches, and 12 of them have been strikes, and she has collected 2 Ks so far, which Madison Preston not really known for striking out batters, but she's looked pretty crisp in the circle. So that one, tough play. Preston had nothing that she could do right there, and a board is done on the little infield single.
That's a great job by Dunn there as well, kind of taking this pitch with her. Almost like a bunt. It's kind of, it went about as far as a bunt did, which is perfect because it makes the defense kind of get back on their heels a little bit. But what we like to call those as slappers is a mishit, kind of. It just literally goes 2 feet, but again, makes the defense stay back because they think you're actually trying to hit the ball hard, I guess, or get a good bounce. But great job by Kaylin Dunn.
And that gets away from Bailey Hemphill, and Dunn will trot to second.
That is the one downfall of Madison Preston being primarily a drop ball pitcher, is that sometimes that drop does happen a little too early and bounces ahead of the plate and makes it tough for whoever's behind the plate to make the catch.
And that has been an Achilles heel this year, with that wild pitch now leading the SEC in that category. Not the stat you want to be leading the conference in.
Not necessarily.
She has looked really solid tonight.
That's really the first kind of oops we've seen from Preston. Now, granted, it's only been, you know, a whole inning, 3 outs, but now going into the second inning.
1-1 comes in low to Jalen Davis, who is 0 for 2. Davis, one of the 11 freshmen that we touched on in the opener. Showed bunt, went around. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Also one of the few times that they've had a runner in scoring position tonight.
2-2 right up the middle, and it floated out to shallow center. Alyssa Brown came up to collect it, but all of a sudden, with nobody out, Mississippi Valley State has 2 on.
Giving them an opportunity. I mean, base hit, scores at least 1.
And because of where that landed, and I don't know if Dunn really knew where the defense was, she did not advance.
Let's
take another look at it.
Skylar was normally, she's actually playing up the middle more, Skylar is, but with her playing so far in the 3-4 hole, it's kind of difficult as a pinch runner, or excuse me, as a runner to see that.
Alabama will try and turn 2. No, it's just a force out at second as Skylar Wallace looked over to first, but didn't have time, and 1 down, runners on the corners. Clare Jenkins heads up, shortstop play right there.
Yes, I mean, the double play obviously gives the option here, but also keeping a second runner out of scoring position, which still gives them a chance to potentially run rule them in the bottom of the 7th, or the 6th.
That was Smith reaching on fielder's choice, and now we're going to see another adjustment to the Delta Devilette lineup. There's another SEC opening weekend matchup. Arkansas at Ole Miss. Mary Half, a sophomore, one of the bright young pitchers in this conference. SEC Pitcher of the Week last week against Kylan Becker on many of those All-American watch lists, and also SEC Player of the Week last week. Ole Miss is kind of a tough place to play. It's not the biggest stadium, but weird things happen in Oxford, and Arkansas's dropped some odd games this year, so I'm not really sure where that series could go.
I think I'm leaning towards Arkansas. They've been having a great year with, I forget the girl who had the 4 home runs.
Yes, Danielle Gibson.
Yes,
the home run cycle.
Yes, the home run cycle. I mean, who does that? That's just such an amazing.
The answer is nobody.
Exactly, nobody, men or women, has done that before. So I don't know. I think Arkansas is going to take the series. I think Ole Miss will be able to squeeze out a game, but
that one poked over to Clark, and Alabama tried to get the runner at third if possible, but the force out moves the runner to second with 2 gone here in the 6th.
You had mentioned also that weird things happen at Ole Miss between, I remember.
I know where you're going with
yes,
this.
with the Bailey's home run, Bailey Hemphill, that actually wasn't a home run because she did not touch home plate. That was a weird thing to happen in Oxford.
That was the Caitlin Lee Ole Miss team that went on to win the SEC tournament. Caitlin Lee has since graduated. There is Bailey Hemphill. It was counted as a triple, which is one of her 2 career triples.
Wow.
So, just padding the stats, I guess.
I guess. Had too many home runs, needed to add a couple more to the triples category. The 0-1
to Dejanay Gage is low, 1-1.
I think that's the strangest play I've ever seen in 23 years of, well, I guess 19 years of being around softball is Bailey Hemphill getting called out on a home run.
I remember watching it, being confused about what was happening as he fouled back.
It was definitely the running joke of the year, I can tell you that much. I think it actually cracked the Sports Center not top 10.
Oh, I'm sure it did, and I do recall watching some games after that. Bailey Hemphill had some home runs near the tail end of that her freshman season, and anytime she was rounding third, the entire team was pointing at home plate, begging her to touch the plate.
Making sure she could see it. Oh, goodness.
1-2, misses high.
Preston clearly wanting that call. Wanting that call there.
Getting the cold shoulder from home plate umpire Matt Johnson. To Devilettes, 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. That one hit earlier in this 6th inning. That one low. And the count goes full. Payoff pitch. Misses. And the first walk of the inning, first walk of the night. And the bases are loaded here for the Delta Devilettes.
Madison Preston getting put into almost a pressure situation here. Not really that stressful just because of the score difference, but kind of getting a way to test her and see if she can get out of this jam and maybe be something that she can prove to Patrick Murphy that, hey, I can handle this situation if, I get put in SEC play or postseason or whenever it may be.
Also a bit of series history here. Mississippi Valley State has not scored a run against Alabama since 2013. Bases loaded, best shot tonight. Swing and a miss by Demi Slater, the pinch hitter coming in. Slater batting .500 this year, the freshman from Dickinson, Texas. 3 hits and 6 at-bats, and those 3 hits all extra base hits, 2 doubles and a home run, and 3 runs driven in. So for somebody that seems to be a typical pinch hitter for the Delta Devilettes, those are the stats you'd like to see in this bases loaded situation. The 0-1 in the dirt.
Pitch by Madison Preston, a great location, kind of hitting that low and outside, makes the batter question a little more whether they should swing or not.
And getting a lot of drop on that drop ball.
As typically it should.
Yes, you would hope.
Yes, one would hope.
Otherwise, not doing too well. Here's the 1-2 in the dirt. Too much drop. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That is a big block there by Bailey Hemphill as well. Took kind of a nice hop, let it hit her in the chest piece, but that's one thing you have to prepare for when you have a pitcher like Madison Preston, who, like we have talked about, primarily throws drop ball. So being able to block behind the plate, especially with the runner at third base, who has some speed, is a very important factor. Especially for Hemphill, who's really the number 2 catcher behind Reagan Dykes. 2-2 swung on and missed, and Madison Preston gets out of the bases loaded jam, and the side is retired. The Delta Devilettes had a chance but can't cash in as Preston gets her 3rd strikeout of the night.
SEC Now will be in Greenville, South Carolina tonight to recap all of the first-round SEC women's basketball tournament action with highlights, breakdowns, and reactions from players and coaches. Nobody covers the SEC like we do. SEC Now is also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere as the first pitch to KB Sides is hit out to center field, and making the catch is Davis, another spectacular one for out number 1.
Looked like she almost overran it a little bit, and line drives are one of those that are tough to read, as you see on this replay. It looks like it maybe have that down ball spin a little bit and may actually drop in front of her, like it had happened previously, but that one was hit square on the nose, and she made a great adjustment to make the play. Probably saved an inside the park home run as well.
Yeah, had that not been caught, would have been tough to get Sides, who's very speedy. But again, another great play out in center by Davis. And Bailey Hemphill will step in, 3 for 3 tonight, 2 singles and a home run. A 3-run shot back in the second. This one is fair as the third baseman Arroyo can't collect it. That'll be an error, and Bailey Hemphill is aboard with 1 out. Just barely stayed fair, Rachel. That was right along the line.
That was, and a tough ball to kind of read off the hop, too. A tough play by the third baseman. One of the things as a defender, you have to attack the ball. You cannot let the ball eat you up, and that's kind of what Arroyo, did there. She let the ball take a second bounce, and it's hard to predict it off of that second bounce.
So Hemphill is aboard after the error, the third of the night for the Delta Devilettes. And Reagan Dykes is up, 1 for 2. And this one hit hard out towards center, right to Davis again, having to sky a bit to make the catch. And Jalen Davis out in center has both of the outs here in the 6th inning. Another hard hit ball from Reagan Dykes. But once again, the Delta Devilette defense comes up big. And now we'll see a maneuver by Patrick Murphy, as the freshman Kayla Davis will pinch hit for Skylar Wallace. Davis, the freshman from Hueytown, Alabama, went to Hueytown High School. 1 for 6 in her career for the Crimson Tide. Really impressive fall ball campaign a couple months ago, a couple home runs in the games earlier this year. First pitch misses from Melissa Montez. You have to be pretty impressed, Rachel, with how Montez has pitched in the circle, giving up a couple home runs and a couple walks, but other than that, has been pretty sharp.
Right, you keep those home runs in the park, and you've got a closer ball game. And Bailey turning on the wheels there. One of those things you don't see that often is a stolen base by Bailey Hemphill, and I don't know, does it go down as a pass ball or?
It's advancing to second on a pass ball.
Oh, what a bummer! Not padding the stats too much now.
Unfortunately not Bailey Hemphill's first stolen base of the year. Her as 2-0 misses. Did have 3 in her freshman year, was 3 for 3. 0 for 1 last year. And with her in scoring position, an RBI chance for Kayla Davis, facing the 3-0 count. Swing and a miss. Nice movement from Montez, and the count goes full. payoff pitch. This one hit high. Drifting foul, moving over, and unable to make the catch is Smith, who had to lean back a bit. Punt remains full.
Yeah, lucky break by Kayla Davis here. Excuse me. Yes, thank you, Kayla Davis. I'm reassured here in the booth.
That's okay, we're cold.
Tough play to make here. Again.
I will say, we are cold. Shout out to the folks out on the cameras tonight, because we might be a bit chilly. I bet they can't move. I don't know how they're following some of these shots. As the 3-2 is hit hard, out towards left, it gets over Lester out there. Taronis out in left, and Kayla Davis with her first career RBI for the Crimson Tide, and the lead expands 7-0 Alabama.
And now we have a different ballgame here, because now the the run ruling run, try saying that 3 times fast, is at second base in scoring position, and Caroline Hardy, who was square on it last time. And now you have a replay here where Kayla, just perfect hitting, perfect placement right out of the left fielder's reach, and legs a double out of it. But Caroline Hardy again here, she was on it last time.
Yeah, homered back in the 5th. As Davis dances around. Hardy 1 for 2. Walk RBI in the 1st. Flew out in the 3rd, and that solo shot in the 5th. And I will add that Lainey Taronis, the freshman, is out in left. Came in this inning. The 1-0. Misses. 2 balls and no strikes. And how big for Kayla Davis? Just 1 for 6 this year, trying to make an impact in the lineup. Comes in and pinch hits and drives across a run.
And that's, you think pinch hitting may not be a hard thing to do to come in, but to come in, especially in a game like this where it is a very cold game, it is hard to stay warm. It's so hard to stay focused in the game, especially. I mean, Alabama's up 7 runs right now, and I mean, to be able to do that as a pinch hitter and as a freshman, that's shows investment, shows just drive and a will to win, essentially.
3-0, this one hit high. Drifting back is Peterson, and she makes the catch for out number 3. But Kayla Davis, with her first career Alabama RBI, makes it 7-0. Last chance for the Delta Devilettes coming up. Seven 0 Alabama here against Mississippi Valley State, and here's how we got there. Bailey Hemphill with a second inning 3-run shot to expand Alabama's lead at the time to 4-0 over the Delta Devilettes. Hemphill's 9th home run of the year. Then Caroline Hardy almost had a home run in the 3rd inning, but a great catch by Davis out in center field to rob that one and help out her pitcher. Then in the 4th inning, Bailey Hemphill with another big hit, and scoring on the error was Kaylee Tao to give Alabama the 5-0 lead. And then Hardy, after having the home run robbed, well, she said, "I'll take it this time." A solo shot in the 5th, way over the left field wall, her 4th home run of the season. And then just a minute ago in the 6th, Kayla Davis, our first career RBI for the Crimson Tide, brought around Bailey Hemphill to score, and that's where we stand. 7-0 Crimson Tide, 7 hits, 1 error, 3 hits for Mississippi Valley State, but Rachel, the number that pops off, 3 errors. The defense has played well, but they haven't helped completely their pitching staff as the first pitch by Wilburn is fouled off.
Right, and errors can make or break you. I mean, they've had great plays, but they've also had some where they've let runners get on base, and Alabama capitalized on it, and that's what separates the wins from the losses sometimes, is having great defense or in this case, having 3 errors that could cause you to not be in this game anymore.
It is how Bailey Hemphill reached base in the last inning, as that first pitch was thrown by Courtney Gettins, a senior from Hastings, New Zealand, in the game for the first time. Gettins, 2.82 ERA this year, 2-0, making her 6th appearance. And is a little bit everywhere in the SEC ranks, 7th in the conference, and our opponent batting average has swung on and missed. 5th in hits allowed and 4th in walks allowed. Just allowing 13 hits this year and walking 4. That in 22 1/3 inning this year. The 1-2 popped up, and Hemphill collects for out number 1.
Not a bad way to start an inning for Courtney Gettins here. Getting that first leadoff out, and great play by Bailey Hemphill. That's a tough play to make, especially with the lights, and not really having a whole lot of time to look at it with the helmet off and having to worry about all that. Good job. That's a lot of factors that play into catching a ball. I can't imagine going from outfield to having to whip off your helmet, find the ball, and then, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in on one play, and I don't feel like it gets appreciated sometimes.
Yeah, Bailey Hemphill's done well behind the plate as that off-speed comes in and swung on a miss by Peterson, who is 0 for 2, grounded out in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th. The 1-1, foul back, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And there is a score update. We mentioned in the open, Alabama one of 2 undefeated teams remaining. Now it's just a Crimson Tide, as Grand Canyon upsets Florida State, and Megan King was in the circle for the Seminoles. Close out that game. That one misses low. A shocking upset, considering Florida State's going to Arizona. Folks thought if they're going to lose their first one, it'll be one of those 3. Well, Grand Canyon getting the first of a doubleheader this evening.
I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, that's just that proves that anybody can win on any given day, and you can't think, oh, it's Grand Canyon University. Or, I mean, you can't take a day off.
Yep.
And I mean, Mississippi Valley State could have done that here, or Alabama could have rather, and just said, oh, it's just, you know, Mississippi Valley State, not really SEC material, but again, you see that it happens on a regular basis. Well, as regularly as, you know, the one time that it's happened this year, but I mean, that's just...
It's surprising.
That's very... Yes.
And again, Alabama with that Florida State loss, 5-3 Grand Canyon winning. Alabama is 1 out away from being the only undefeated team still after this game, and also getting their first, or rather best start at 22-0 since 2013. Alabama projected 8th in the preseason coaches poll, now the last undefeated team in America. Lanny Taronis, the 0-2, misses outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And as I said, Florida State has to play Grand Canyon again tonight. Out west. I don't know where Grand Canyon University is. I assume they're not actually playing in the Grand Canyon, as cool as that would be. Here's the 1-2. Did she go? Yes, she did. Taronis goes too far around. And with that victory, Alabama, the lone undefeated team in America, a 7-0 win over Mississippi Valley State.
We'll wrap things up when we come back. 7-0 Crimson Tide here in Tuscaloosa. Alabama defeats Mississippi Valley State 7-0 to continue their undefeated start to the year, improving to 22-0 on the season. And senior Caroline Hardy joining us now on the broadcast. Caroline, after you had a home run robbed out in center field, you came right back and hit a solo shot. What adjustment did you make on that solo home run out to left?
Yeah, I was just seeing the ball a little bit deeper. You know, she was a tough pitcher hit, and she had us on the ropes for a while, and so just seeing it deep, you know, trying to hit it right in the middle of the ball.
Caroline, having a great senior year. Out of your 7 hits that you have, 4 of them are home runs. What a stat line to have. What have you done to improve your hitting this year?
I'm just focusing on intent. You know, I'm thinking about what I want to do with the ball, and that's just what I'm focusing on. I'm you know, trying to work on my intent and get a good pitch to hit.
And Caroline, will update you on something that happened tonight. Just moments ago, Florida State lost to Grand Canyon. So you and your teammates and Patrick Murphy, you're the final undefeated team in college softball. How do you feel when you hear that statement?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a really good accomplishment. This group has worked really, really hard, and we've earned it. But, you know, we're not Murph always says we're not looking at the scoreboard. So we're not looking at our record. We're not looking at what the score is. And we're just taking it one game at a time.
Caroline Hardy, thank you for joining us. Might want to check your right shoulder there, but you got a little something on there. Caroline Hardy, thank you for hopping on with us. And Caroline Hardy had a solo shot in this game, one of a couple home runs for the Crimson Tide in a 7-0 victory. You know, it probably wasn't the offensive performance that Patrick Murphy wanted overall, but getting hits here and there and seeing some players who needed hits to get confidence back really come in clutch.
Right. He started a lot of new people in a lot of new places, and even pinch hit Kayla Davis, who got a key double there and at least gave the chance for the run rule for this game in the bottom of the 6th inning. And that's something, again, kind of put the freshman in a pressure situation, maybe see how she handles it and see how she performs.
So Alabama gets a 7-0 victory over Mississippi Valley State. As we take a look at how it happened, 2nd inning, Bailey Hemphill, a 3-run bomb.
This is a great shot and a great hitting here by Bailey Hemphill. Really going with this outside pitch, throwing her hands to the ball and staying on it as long as possible, and putting a big punch to the Alabama scoreboard.
Part of a 3-for-4 day for her. In the 3rd inning, here's the home run robbed for Caroline Hardy.
I mean, that's a great play by the center fielder. And again, Alyssa Montez just thrilled that she kept it in the park for her.
And then the 4th inning, Bailey Hemphill with a single and Kaylee Tao scoring on the air.
Great read by Kaylee Tao, seeing the error, reading Patrick Murphy's hand signals, him waving around his arm and getting this run across.
And then Caroline Hardy has a home run robbed. She hits one the next at-bat out to left in the parking lot.
A no-doubter, if you ask me. It looks like it almost got lost in the night. May have gone to the street out back, but a great shot by Caroline and a great adjustment she made.
And the scoring was not done as run number 7 came courtesy of Kayla Davis, a freshman from Hueytown.
That's huge as a freshman. And again, being put in this big situation where there is a runner in scoring position who doesn't have a whole lot of speed, getting the ball out of the infield, getting it past the defenders to make sure that it scores.
There are the final numbers there, and you see Krystal Goodman also had a really good start in the circle.
Yes, she had, I believe, 5 strikeouts and, again, had a great day. And then really just a staff win. Madison Preston came in, had a couple of strikeouts. And, I mean, Courtney came in and closed it. You can't ask for much better from a pitching staff. And Alabama putting up 7 runs, that's a pretty good day.
So from our partner Rachel Bobo and our entire SEC Network crew, especially those out in the cold tonight, I'm Gray Robertson saying so long from Tuscaloosa, where the final score is Alabama 7, Mississippi Valley State 0. Our next SEC Network Plus broadcast from here in Tuscaloosa will be Friday night as the SEC conference play begins with Missouri taking on the Crimson Tide at 7:30 Eastern. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other events on our family of ESPN networks, download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of the SEC ESPN Network. Have a great night, everybody.